aggressively casual.
Holy crap! Welcome everyone to Aggressively Casual, episode 4. I, as always, am your host, Freebird. With me to my internet left is Cheeks. Say hi, Cheeks.
Hello. What such there is my voice.
Ooh, you sound lovely, sir.
My dulcet tones are not so dulcet.
It's
Can I at least
fine.
get a co-host billing?
Yes.
As opposed to, hey, you're that guy over there.
Yes. The wonderful co-host without whom this show would not be possible, Cheeks.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll take what I can get right
You're
now.
welcome. So, we've had an interesting couple of weeks in the video game industry. I don't know about you, but I am certainly intrigued by things I've seen going down recently. Especially when it comes to this evening's topic about double standards in the games industry. And how, honestly, I'm pretty tired of them, and I think you are too.
Well, they just don't make any sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, most double standards don't make any sense.
Well,
but
true enough.
This, what we're experiencing right now in terms of double standards is pretty insane. When it comes to one game in particular, but I think the industry as a whole is currently in this weird state of not wanting to hold people accountable or companies accountable or video games accountable but yet feeling like they need to, if that makes sense.
Well, right. It's like we want to, but we don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll be that guy.
Or I'll be that guy all day long. So, let's backtrack a little bit though. What have you been playing recently?
I'm still playing Avorian, because Space came. I almost played some Destiny 2.
Oh God,
just couldn't bring myself to futz with it. I just as much. I don't know. I want to play, but every time I actually go to play, I end up just not. And
that actually describes my time with Destiny recently. Is every time I've wanted to play, I log in and I stare at the screen and get overwhelmed by all of the shit that I've missed, and go, nope.
Well, no. I don't suffer from FOMO, from one thing, and I'm not saying that you do, but a lot of people do. I don't suffer from, fear of missing out. Yeah. But it does, after a while, you're like, oh, I missed all this shit, and I kind of feel like I need to catch up a little bit.
Right.
But like for the holiday event, you can actually get the class items, but it's such a grind. Yeah. And it's an exotic class item that I'm probably never going to use because I'm not going to give up the exotic piece of armor I'm already wearing that makes my build go.
Right, that's the problem. Now, I think Destiny, they need to rework their transmog system.
Right. Universal ornaments need to be actually universal.
Universal, exactly. Well, and really, they should do it like WoW, where everything you pick up is equipable for transmog.
Right.
Everything you pick up is, as long as your class can wear it, you can wear it. I think that they should take it a step further and be no matter what the armor is, as long as your account collects it, you can wear it.
Yeah, I agree too. Well, I don't mind so much the splitting things up by class. Although sometimes I'm like, I want to wear that on my Titan.
Right.
I want a cape. I want a cape on the Titan.
I want the hunter. The hunter one from the dungeon that looks like the cowboy stuff that everybody coveted for a while. I want that on my warlock, please. Please,
right?
Bungie, please.
Yeah, just give me my hat,
Just,
man.
just give me my hat. I want my hat. I want my Cad Bane hat, please. Thank you.
Right? For
Please,
real.
please let me be Cad Bane. But other than that, have you started anything new recently? Anything that?
Well, we did start Embers Adrift.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I'm trying to remember the name. We started Embers Adrift. That's right. Which I watched
While
some
it's free.
videos. I watched some interesting videos on that today. I mean, everything was touching on the Digital River
Yeah,
BS
so
where
we might as well touch on that too, because
yeah,
Digital River used to be huge. I mean, I have over the years
they're a
so many
Minnesota
receipts
they're a Minnesota based company. Yeah.
from Digital River,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, this is just beyond what
Yeah.
is going on.
So, like, long story short, Digital River got bought out by a parent company a few years ago now.
Right.
And ever since then, it sounds like things have been a little rocky, but they've been able to hide it up until very recently.
Yeah.
As of about, I'd say 6 months ago, Digital River hasn't been paying many, if not any, of their
Right.
clients that use them for
Well,
support.
and then they say that they don't see those as debts they need to pay.
Yeah, that was the weird one. They doubled
How
down and
does
said we
that
don't need to pay
work?
these. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. It doesn't make any sense to me because it sounds like someone needs to pay money somewhere.
Right.
But what do we know? What do we know? So that bugged the shit out of me. But so basically,
Yeah.
what they've done is they've taken the developers of Embers Adrift have taken the game off of monetization
Right. For
until
now,
they can
free to
convert the
play.
game to Steam.
They're gonna move into Steam, and until that time, it's completely free to play,
Yep.
as if you had a subscription.
Yep.
And they say that's gonna take a few months. So on the bright side, this will probably bring them some players,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and they'll probably retain some of those when they're gone. It's too early to tell whether that will be us,
Right.
having only played for a couple hours.
Right.
But if you like your MMO old school,
Yeah.
like EQ1 early days, old school,
Yep.
then give it a shot.
Yeah.
Now
It's
it's not completely that way. There are some newer things. There's an odd mishmash of things that they seem to have taken from EQ1 and EQ2 and a
Yeah.
couple other places.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's very old school.
Yep. Yep.
Definitely pre-WoW.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Which I mean, it's a good time. I'm having fun. I'm having fun relearning how to play that style of MMO again. Even though
Right,
we've dipped our toes into EverQuest 2 a little bit. I've been playing some
Right.
Lord of the Rings Online, but even Lord of the Rings Online is way modern compared to this. In terms of how the game feels, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like, other than that, I've been in Call of Duty, doing.
Yeah, I need to try the multiplayer. I haven't done any of the multiplayer. I
Okay.
was having trouble with the campaign. The load times are just abysmal for me for whatever reason.
That didn't get
So
fixed
it
for
just,
you either.
no, it really didn't. They got a
Okay.
little bit faster, but not significantly faster. I
I
haven't tried it
what drive you have it
lately.
installed on.
It's on the SSD.
Oh, that's weird.
So once the thing loads, it runs great. But
Yeah.
the load times for me, right, for whatever reason, are just abysmal. And we're talking 5 minutes plus to get into a mission.
I wonder if
Which-
it's the next time you launch the game, go and redo your shader cache.
Yeah.
That could be there could be something messed up with the shader cache. But Stu and Becky and I did a zombies stream last weekend, and my God, that is fucking fun. They really knocked it out of the park with what they did with zombies. because it's still the round base. You're gonna get your shit pushed in eventually. Type of mode, but there is a story to it. There's different Easter eggs you can go and do, and like there's certain things you have to do in a certain order to do those things. Like it's really cool. I really want to dive more into that. And I mean, multiplayer it's Call of Duty multiplayer. If you like Call of Duty multiplayer, you're going to like this one. It is a good one. It's not Modern Warfare 3,
Right.
where everything was terrible and we all hated our lives. It is actually a solid. It is a solid game. The guns feel good. The time to kill in core and hardcore feels good. My biggest problem is some of the maps are pretty bad. I don't think that Treyarch made those maps, because Treyarch is known for making solid multiplayer maps.
Right.
I don't think that they made these. I think somebody else did. But that's my Call of Duty conspiracy theory for the year. I think somebody else made these maps and Treyarch slapped their name on it, because some of it just feels really weird. And then the weird spawning issues that we had in the beta are still there, but they've been in every Call of Duty for a number of years now, so I can't really say I'm surprised.
Right. The only thing I don't like is the whole launcher to the launcher to the launcher to the launcher thing. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Just let me in.
Right? And we've talked about this. Like Call of Duty is doing this thing where they have this, especially on PC, they have this Call of Duty HQ app, and it houses all things Call of Duty on your computer.
Right.
Which, in theory, sounds fine. But I'm already launching the game from a launcher. Right? I'm already using Steam or Xbox or the Activision Blizzard app, right? Why the fuck would you make me then launch a launcher to then launch the game I want to play? And then half the time, when I go to launch the fucking game I want to play, there was some server backend up that requires the app to be restarted to catch up.
Right.
So then I have to do the process over again. And it's just like, come on, like, there's got to be a better way. There has to be. There has to be a better way to do that.
Well, right. It's just frustrating. I'm just like, oh god, I got to launch the thing. Now I got to launch it again.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And then I got to choose what I want to launch this.
Yeah. It too many button clicks to get where I want to go efficiently. And you would think that a company that wants you to play their game as long as possible would be better at that by now.
Weirdly, I haven't seen a lot of reviews for this.
Neither have I.
I don't know if people are just like, it's like we are. It's Call of Duty. Don't play it.
I saw a lot for the campaign, and the campaign got incredible reviews for the most part, which has me excited because I actually need to finish the campaign. I haven't finished it yet. But I actually really am enjoying what I've played so far, and cannot wait to finish it and then get my video up. Because the campaign is the last thing I need to finish before I can put our Why Don't We Try video out, because I was going to do like 3 of them.
Right.
One for zombies, one for multiplayer, one for campaign. And I was like, no, that's too much. That's too much work. Because it would take me 3 times as long to get the stuff done. I'm just going to do one video for everything and just timestamp it. That'd be way easier for me and my work.
Right.
But the interesting thing is, I haven't seen a lot of reviews on the multiplayer or zombies, even though a lot of people are watching zombies, which is interesting. The viewership for zombies right now is insane. Again, it's Call of Duty. I will say this. For the first time, Call of Duty is accessible to everybody if you have Game Pass. PC, Xbox, doesn't matter. Right? Even Xbox Cloud, I think it's running there. Right?
That was a great move.
If you are at all interested in this game, right, spend the $17 for Game Pass and try it.
Right? Absolutely.
Try it, because that way, and then if you want to buy the game, buy the game. If you want to keep using Game Pass, keep using Game Pass. Game Pass is still the best deal in modern gaming.
Pretty much,
you get so much content with it, especially with the Activision Blizzard deal. I mean, and the thing about Game Pass, I've said this since they first announced Game Pass. On Game Pass, there is something for everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody,
pretty
every
much.
type of gamer, right?
Yeah, we
They
have a family plan that we've had for ages because of
yeah
that.
yeah it is the best value dollars for content in gaming, hands down. I still cannot believe Microsoft has kept the price as low as they have. Yeah, it's crept up a lot
Right.
over the years, but it's still pretty efficient.
Yeah, it's still, you know what it hasn't done though? Well, the family plan has officially doubled from where I started.
Okay, okay.
But that's, I mean, it's $20 a month.
Yeah, I mean $20 a month for how many users is it?
Well, we have we have four in the house,
Okay, okay. Yeah, I mean that
and
that's
and
that,
have
that
had as many as seven.
yeah, that's a really good deal. That's a really really good deal.
But,
Um,
all right,
but
so we've avoided this long
I was
enough.
gonna say we've pushed this conversation off as long as we can.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Let's talk
Dragon
about
Age Veilguard.
well
And what about that?
I was gonna
Hang
say
on.
because here's the worst part, right? Is that I now have you played the game yet?
Nope.
Okay, okay.
I've watched a lot of it.
I've got about I'd say 4 hours or so in the game, and I am on the more positive side of the reviews for this game.
Right.
I think it is fun. I think the combat is good. I think the story is interesting. I think the characters are the companions are interesting. Some of the dialogue is a little wonky.
Some of the
But I
dialogue
mean,
is atrocious. But I've decided that that's just where we are. It seems to be because I have the same problem with the dialogue in games now that I have with the dialogue in television shows and movies. It's been reduced so far that nobody trusts their audience anymore.
yeah,
I'm going to have to explain everything to you. I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to tell, not show.
right.
I don't think you're smart enough to figure this out by yourself. So here, I'm going to hand it to you like you're handing it to a toddler. But that's really not my problem. Across the board, this game is getting 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And people are saying this is the best thing since sliced bread. It's the greatest thing ever. Okay, that's a little hyperbole. But this game is being hailed as a success.
Right.
When other recent releases that got 90s are failures. That makes no sense to me. And the only thing that can be is because, well, and you said this to me yourself. You used this very phrase to me. It's Dragon Age, it's BioWare.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why does that matter? If the game is shit, the game is shit. Doesn't matter who put it out.
Yep. But
I'm not saying the game is shit because an
Oh,
80
yeah,
is a pretty
but-
good. It's a
yeah.
pretty good rating. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Again, aggressively casual. 80 is fine.
Yeah.
But the community at large is hailing this as a success, which, interesting enough, they only had 90,000 peak players, where other releases this year have literally had 1 million.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Veilguard is not the rousing success that EA would like you to think it is. With that kind of player base.
Well, remember though that in defensive player numbers, we only get player count for one platform, and that's one
Sure.
part of one platform on PC. We don't get
Sure.
player count from the EA.
Let's
app.
assume that that's tripled.
Yeah.
You're still sitting at a third of the player base as other larger releases this year.
Oh yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because people like to bring up these numbers from SteamDB all the time,
Sure.
and it's like, well, right, but people don't see the forest for the trees because they go, okay, well, SteamDB is everything. No, it's not.
Right? No, it's not. It definitely is not.
No,
my point is it just feeds into this double standard stuff.
Yeah.
Of here are the numbers.
Yeah.
Well, here are the numbers over here for this game that you said was a failure.
Right.
And they're triple that.
Well, and like the interesting comparison for me, if we're talking about RPG-ish games, right, is Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws was panned at release,
right,
by a lot of people, and sits, I think, still. Let me pull up Metacritic real quick.
Yeah, see, Metacritic, give a crap about, but that's just me.
I don't care either, but I'm just using it as a quick way to
Right.
look up what
But yeah,
the
you're right. That, Baldur's Gate 3 is the big elephant in that room.
yeah. So Star Wars Outlaws critic wise is at a 75,
Right.
based on 91 reviews. If we're looking at Metacritic reviews for Dragon Age, it's at an 84 based on 54 reviews. Now,
So
here's the thing.
that's not that much better.
It's not that much better. It's not that much better. And my thing is that everybody now is harping on the user score for Metacritic, but Metacritic doesn't make you verify that you own the goddamn game you're reviewing. So
Well, right.
if we look at a platform like Steam, which does make you verify that you've purchased the game before you can leave
Right.
a review, they're sitting at mostly positive reviews, with 12,000 reviews in.
Right.
So like it's one of those where it's like if I 13,000 reviews in now. Positive is about 10,000. Negative is a little over 3,000.
It's not bad. That's pretty good. And when I look at reviews, I want to see trends, right? I want to see where is it going? Not because if you see a game that is universally praised, somebody's lying. And if you see something that's universally panned, somebody's probably lying too.
Oh, absolutely.
Because normally in any game, anything, any game, any book, any movie, pick one. Somebody's going to like it. Somebody's going to hate it. That's just all, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
But again, it's like, okay, so this is that 75 to 85 range, which I consider in the same general category. And it has some of the same flaws that Outlaws did.
Yep.
They don't seem to be, they seem to be hand wave away from this whole, it's BioWare. My problem is BioWare now is not the BioWare that people are talking about when they say, it's BioWare. Those people are long gone.
Right.
The days too, used to in the industry, although the industry has always been it's always been funny to me because people working at the same company for decades has always been very rare in the game industry.
Oh yeah.
The game industry has almost always been churn and burn. You hire your team, they develop the game, but they're not the ones that support it. They get released, they go on to the next company.
Yep.
So when these companies can retain, but they crank out a series of hits.
Yeah.
And in the gaming industry, I'm like, you know what? That's great. You had all of these hits, but those aren't the same people developing this game, so you're starting from ground zero.
It's not even that for me. It's the we hold. I say we as we. I mean the community at large, the gamers at large, hold these companies to such a ridiculous standard. Right.
That's valid. That's very valid.
We believe that that these companies are. We put them on pedestals and go, they're the best at X, they're the best at Y.
Right.
Not everybody can be the best at something all the time.
Right.
That's just not, it's not possible.
Well,
It doesn't.
We've talked about that before. Okay is fine, right? Good is okay.
Good, right. It is okay to be a 7 out of 10 game. That's a good game. But
which is essentially what I've seen at Veilguard being. But it's just it's interesting to me because of the same things that other games have been panned for. Nobody pays attention to, or the people that are paying attention to, you don't care about anyway.
Well, the interesting thing to me with this particular title, right, is a lot has been made in the media and the community at large about how this is BioWare's last chance. This is their way to get back to form or whatever it is. But my argument has been, why do they need to? Why do they need to? Get back to form when the people like Cheeks was saying, the people who made all those games you loved that BioWare made. Knights of the Old Republic and Jade Empire and Mass Effect. They don't work there anymore. They haven't for a long time. So, you're trying to hold them to a standard, these new developers to a standard that somebody else set 20 to 25 years ago. And that's just unrealistic to me. It's almost like you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Because so many people are like, oh, well, this game is, it's a BioWare game, so it's going to be great. And then if they have any issue with it, oh, this game sucks. Like, it drives me batty.
First of all,
absolutely batty.
Props for the Jade Empire reference. Great game. Unsung BioWare game.
Uh-huh.
You don't hear that one in the conversation most of the time, and I've always wondered why.
That game is amazing.
Right, you should.
Because that game laid the foundation for everything else they did.
Right. And you're right. These people aren't there anymore. It's a brand new team. They don't need to be held, well, it becomes an impossible standard. Because the longer we get away from the Mass Effects, the Jade Empires, the Knights of the Old Republic,
right,
the deeper those rose-colored glasses get.
Whoa, sure. Now, great. But
so, my point is,
when it comes to
as the nostalgia kicks in, these pedestals get higher and higher.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They're never going to make that.
No.
No game today is going to live up to the hype. None. Zero.
And it's like we talked about 2 episodes ago. Every fucking game now underperforms, undersells, under this. It's underwhelming. And to go with that, every fucking gamer, that puts these fucking people on the pedestal is to blame, because they have these unrealistic expectations and ideations of what their thing is going to be. And they've built it up so much in their heads for however long, because these games take 5 years plus to develop, right? And some of these companies got in bad habits of announcing a game and then not giving updates for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And so you have all that time where all of the possibilities of what this game could be and do and all these things are churning in your head. And you've got this idea, and if the thing that comes out doesn't match the idea in your head, is that the developer's fault? No, it's your fault.
No. So why isn't this game being held to that standard? Because it doesn't seem to be. That's my whole problem.
Yep.
What is it about this game? And I come from this I've played all of the previous Dragon Age games. I found them to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
I am not deep in that lore. I'm way more into Mass Effect than I am Dragon Age.
Here's what I think, right? I think that people wanted BioWare to just make a good game after the shit that happened with Anthem, and after the shit they went through with the older Republic MMO, right, over the past 12 years. I think that people just wanted BioWare to make a good single-player game. And to their credit, they've done that. But I think that people are giving BioWare the flowers for not fucking up over anything else. I think that they're giving BioWare so much praise because, hey, you did your damn job.
So it's
instead of
it's The Force Awakens. Just don't suck.
It's not an unmitigated disaster, therefore it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right, just don't suck is the answer here. So,
I mean,
but I don't know. It seems disingenuous to me because 2 weeks from now, when the next RPG releases, you're just going to see a shit can, no matter how many, oh, it's not this, it's not that, it's not that.
Well, right. And, yeah. And that's a problem. That's a problem at large, right? Because we set expectations for these companies, right?
Right.
And then when something goes wrong or isn't the way that we thought it would be, or whatever term you want to use, we suddenly turn our backs like we've like they owe us a perfect this or a perfect
Mhm.
that. It's like they don't owe us shit. Like these people don't owe us anything. And I mean, you and I have talked about this before when it came to Destiny. Like some people in the community get all up in arms about Bungie owing them, communication and explanation for, whatever change they made they
Nope.
didn't like.
Right.
And it's like, no, they don't owe you a damn thing.
They know you're nothing. Right.
They don't owe you a damn thing. Nothing.
Yeah,
They owe you nothing.
The gaming community as a whole has become very entitled to things that they're not entitled to.
Right. But because one company does it, because one company did
Right.
it, right? Now
Um,
every other company feels they have to do something.
Here's what you're entitled to. You give the company money, they deliver a product. Done.
Yep, that's it.
It's where that relationship actually ends.
Now, companies go above and beyond, especially now it's like everybody wants you to join their Discord server, right?
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
Every game, no matter what, single player, multiplayer, big, small,
That's a whole other ball of wax.
Every company wants you to join their Discord server and interact with them, and their community and do all these things. And I'm just like, oh, guys, that is
No. The answer is no.
The answer is no.
And I mean, and I'm on a small number. I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
This is coming from somebody who runs a community of 17,000 people. I
have 20 Discords, and I feel like it's way too fucking many.
Yeah, I wish I had 20. My God, I have folders.
I just refuse.
I have folders upon folders.
I just refuse because you can't keep up with all that crap.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's no way to keep up. Well, and then especially like a game like Dragon Age, right? They have a Discord server, right? There's 300,000 people in there. What are you gonna talk about? How are you gonna have any meaningful conversation in a server with 300,000 people?
Right.
How? Can anyone explain that to me? Other than getting direct marketing, right? Because that's what they're doing. They're giving you direct marketing opportunities, right? Because they can tag you with an @everyone announcement about their next marketing push for whatever the fuck it is they're doing, right? There's no when a game is that large, there's no benefit to being there.
Mm-mm.
There's no benefit to being there at all. But instead of doing the thing we used to do, we're talking about double standards. Instead of doing the thing we used to do, where companies would communicate things, and we go, okay, thank you for the information.
Mm-hmm.
We go, is that it?
Right.
Where's the rest of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because
well, and heaven forbid you don't make your timeline. You don't make your timeline.
Oh, look at Assassin's Creed.
Oh.
Look at Assassin's Creed. I mean, they're
okay. So with the new one, the only thing that I've seen that's the complaint about that I totally agree with was the statue.
Yeah,
they screwed up on that one.
Yeah,
that one somebody didn't do their due diligence. Yep. But the fact of the matter is just like every other Assassin's Creed game, one of the main characters is based on a historical person.
Yep.
The other one easily could have existed. And people are just up in arms because one is a person of color. I'm like, okay, it's Japan. And two, the other one's a girl.
Yep. God forbid.
And I'm like, just because historically we don't have a record, which I might add, we do. You just gotta look a little further and actually be a student of history. But that's okay. That's not my soapbox. Yes, right. It is. Yes, it's really my soapbox. And suddenly this one is getting absolutely panned. I do think it is because more of, at the end of the day, they really screwed up using the half gate for the statue because of what that represents culturally. Yeah. That was what the hell were you thinking?
Yep, agreed.
But that's fairly easily fixable. Now, my own little headcanon is that game's never coming out at this point. I honestly do think that Ubisoft is looking for a way to just quietly kill it. I don't know that they'll be able to.
I don't think they'll
I
be
think
able
we'll
to.
get it eventually.
No, yeah,
But
we'll
I'm just like,
we'll get it. We'll get it in February, and it'll be quietly forgotten.
yeah, that you won't get any. Speaking of, BioWare has already said they have no DLC plans for Veilguard.
That doesn't surprise me though, because they're now neck deep in Mass Effect.
Well, I understand that, but every other Dragon Age before this has at least 1 or 2 pieces of DLC. And when you put out a game like this, and you did say immediately, we have no DLC plans, for me, that erodes my confidence that you have in your own product. Because suddenly you're like, I don't think this has any real staying power. So we're not going to bother further developing it. You know?
I think that this was that this game in general for BioWare was a good resetting point.
Also, the BioWare problem started at the end of Mass Effect 3.
Oh God, absolutely.
Long before Anthem. They started
Anthem.
when they killed Shepard. That was their first mistake.
Yeah, spoiler alert for a 12-year-old game. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, but now, I mean they've walked that back so many times at this point. I mean, it is what it is.
Sure, but my point is that's the start. That was really probably the start of their problems.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And then Mass Effect 4 was not all that. Although I'm gonna be honest, gameplay wise, Mass Effect 4 was a lot of fun.
Gameplay wise, Andromeda was amazing.
The story, the problem is when you have a main character like Shepard, or to go back to our perfect, an Ezio.
Yep.
You have these guys, and you can't follow them. You just, you can't follow them unless you're going to develop. And the problem with like Assassin's Creed is they've refused to stick with a protagonist for more than one game.
Well, that's not
post
true.
the Ezio trilogy.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. Post the Ezio games.
Post Ezio, you have not had the same protagonist
now,
in one yet.
To be fair, they did support Valhalla for 2 years, and you got a shed load of content with that almost equaled a second game. So,
okay.
That being said, Valhalla was a fucking slog.
Yeah,
I loved a lot of that game, but
I was disappointed.
There was a point where I was just speeding through shit to get it done.
Odyssey was great.
Odyssey was amazing. I wanted more of that. I really did.
I thought Origins was pretty good too.
I liked Origins. Yep, I liked Origins.
I like Odyssey better than Origins. I'll give them that. But
Yep.
But yeah, Valhalla, I got bored real fast. And I'm an Assassin's Creed fan.
For me, with Valhalla, it was I played it long after it. I played it when it came out. Got about halfway through. Put it down because you and I got into something. I'm pretty sure it was Destiny again or something, right?
Probably.
Like you and I got into something, and then I picked it up about a year, maybe a year and a half later after the DLC had come out, and they were just announcing the second round of DLC because they were taking a year off. So I was like, yeah, I'll dive back in and see, and I loved it, had a blast. But I think that I think that if I would have stuck with it, like from the beginning, I would have just never touched the DLC. I would have been done because the base game of that game, if you're trying to get through it in like one thing, it's such a goddamn slog. It's not like Red Dead Redemption 2, where like I could play that game for hours and get lost and not a care in the fucking world because I love that because that world is so good.
How many hours do I spend just toiling around hunting pirates in Avorion?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I got bored with the Valhalla really fast, which was very disappointing because I am a Viking fan. Sorry.
Yeah. I wanted Valhalla to be like Black Flag for me because Black Flag was incredible.
I played a lot of Black Flag where I just tool around and go hunt stuff.
Yep. But you can't or couldn't, I say, like do that in Valhalla. Not really. It wasn't as exciting. And like when you load up your map in Valhalla and you see 40 icons on your fucking map, you're like, well, fuck, what do I do? And a lot of times, for me, it was I'm just gonna shut the game down, find something else to play.
So basically, what you're saying is your problem tends to be analysis paralysis.
Oh, absolutely.
Where do I
Absolutely.
start?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I don't have quite that some because eventually I'll just go, okay, let's go over here.
Fair.
Which because you're like if you go to another game that's similar to Skyrim, you open that up, there's a ton of shit on the map, and then
Yeah.
there's a ton of shit that you can't see.
Yeah, but see
And
that,
with
but
Skyrim, you're like, what are you doing? I'm going that way.
the thing
Why?
with
Because I can.
because I can. But the thing with Skyrim is that it does a really good job of of starting small and opening, and
Right, and
you've got
opening
two
you
or
up.
three things, and then it opens up to this massive thing. Valhalla, when you fucking start the game, especially if you have the gold
Right.
edition of the game, it just goes bing. It's like a fucking mobile game. Bing, 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 bing,
Yeah,
bing.
it's
It's
like
like,
Elite Dangerous. Boom, here you go. We kick you out in the galaxy. Have fun.
right, right.
Make your own way. What?
What? Huh?
Go do
Who?
stuff. What?
Right?
Stuff. Stuff.
Stuff, things,
All
explore.
right.
It's
Um,
no, I need some help. Explain. Nah, you're fine. You'll be fine.
yeah. But back to our topic. All I want, and I'm not going to get it, is consistency. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like being an umpire. You could be a bad umpire as long as you're consistent with what you're doing.
Yep.
If you always call that particular pitch a strike, no matter where it is, I can adjust to that.
Yep.
But when one pitch straight down the middle is a ball, the one over my head is a strike, and then the next one under my feet is you can't adjust to that. And that's kind of the way reviews are these days, where tomorrow I don't even trust them. Even people that I've watched for years and years and years now, as more and plus is more and more, and which is another thing about Veilguard. Oh, you said something bad about us. You don't get a code. Bullshit.
Right.
That is complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah, not thrilled about that shit.
Not a good look.
No, and there's no defense of that. I mean,
Because now you're just trying to stack the deck, and again shows me lack of confidence in your product.
right. Right. I've criticized EA for this preferential treatment for years, because we got blackballed by EA at one point for saying something snarky about Anthem. And I'm like, look, like, at the end of the day, I was right.
Well, yeah, and that's why we talk about this. There won't be any no, you want me to review your game? That's fine. I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want to say. If you have a problem with that, don't send me a fucking code.
Yep.
Because if it sucks, I'm gonna tell you.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you why too. I'm not gonna just go, this game sucks.
Yep. Absolutely.
But
And my thing is like, we've always strived to be honest, because there's not a lot of honesty when it comes to covering the games industry.
not anymore.
Everybody is out for their own damn agenda and out for themselves, and they're gonna do whatever it is they need to do to get the clicks.
Clicks. Right.
It's all about, and that's not who we are. That's not who you are. That's not who I am. That's not
too
who
old to
Sam or
give a shit
Stu or
about that.
Becky. It doesn't fucking matter. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. None of it matters.
Right. It's pixels on a screen that at the end of the day don't mean a damn thing.
Right. Do not let anyone, and I mean anyone, tell you what to think or feel about anything, especially something that's supposed to be entertainment. Right?
That's true. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, more power to you.
Yep. Do your own research. Make up your own damn mind. Don't follow what somebody on YouTube says or Twitch or wherever just because they say it. Spend if you don't want to spend $70 on Dragon Age, great. Spend $16 for a month of EA Play Pro and play the game. Try it for yourself. What do you have to lose? $17. That is 3 cups of Starbucks coffee.
$17 in a few hours of my life I'll never get back.
Right? Exactly.
But I've said from the very beginning, every conversation we've had about this game, everything I've seen, I've looked at this game and went, meh.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and again, that's your right.
And again, I've played every prior, and Dragon Age 2, I liked. What are the next one? Origins. I even liked Inquisitor.
Inquisition was
So
good.
it's not.
I liked
It's
Inquisition.
it's not like I hate the games. I like them. I put a lot of hours into Dragon Age,
Yep.
but everything I saw about this game just made me go, eh,
And hey, like I said, more power to you. If you don't like it,
you know.
great. For those that do, great. But again, just because
Absolutely.
you like or don't like something doesn't give you the right to shove your fucking opinion down somebody else's throat.
Says the people who are online shoving their opinions down other people's throat. I mean, not to be telling tales out of school, but absolutely, if you don't agree, that is fine. That is your right. That is absolutely your privilege to not agree. But it also doesn't make things invalid. And I think that's part of the problem too, is like, if too many people are like, oh, if you don't agree with me, your opinion is not valid. Yes, it is. If there's a legitimate gripe about a game, like, I think some of the dialogue is way too heavy-handed. They're just hitting you over the head with a bat. And I have this problem about this game. I had some of the dialogue in Outlaws.
Yeah.
We won't even talk about the dialogue anymore in MechWarrior 5. Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
It's bad. It's just not well written, for one thing. Tell me, you can preach whatever you want. Just do it well written. You know. But I have this problem. We've talked about movies. We watch movies today, and I'm like, who's writing this shit?
Right?
This is insulting to your audience's intelligence. Some of it.
Oh yeah.
It's just literally like, we don't trust you to figure this out on your own, so we're gonna bash you over the head with it until you understand, and then we're gonna keep bashing you over that.
Subtlety is dead.
Yes, absolutely. There is no
nothing is subtle anymore. Nothing is subtle anymore.
And again, do not misunderstand anything I am saying or misconstrue anything that I am saying. I am all about inclusivity.
Yeah.
And adding, and I actually love that. Just do it right.
Oh yeah.
Do it right.
Yeah.
And they're really not. So, but whatever.
Yeah. But whatever. I mean,
if you want it to stick, do it correctly.
Exactly.
And just, again, do it well written. And from what I've seen, it is not well written.
Yeah. I mean, which is why when I'm looking at the dialogue options, I've been choosing like the funnier ones just to see how ridiculous they come.
Just choose all the snarky ones, because those are the only ones that are going to be mildly entertaining.
Exactly, the ones that are mildly entertaining. And I always play the snarky guy in Dragon Age games, anyways, so might as well just continue the tradition, right?
Another thing too is, I have very little interest in one of the main draws behind your Dragon Age, your Baldur's Gates, your Mass Effects. I don't need romance in my video games.
Fair.
I don't.
I mean, some people do.
I get it. The point is, it's one of those things I go, okay, it's a neat feature, but it's probably not something I'm really going to pursue.
Right.
But if that's your bag, I know I have friends who will play this game as many times as it takes to hit all of the romance options. Yeah.
I assume you and I are thinking of the same person at this very moment.
At least one, yes. And there is at least one commonality. If you're watching, hi. No names.
Exactly. But I'm having a good time with the game. And I think that you would have a good time if you played it. But I'm not going to sit here and beat you over the head. You've got to play this game. No. If you want to play the game, play the game. If you're happy playing Embers Adrift and Evorian, play Embers Adrift and Evorian.
Right.
It's as simple as that, really. I don't know.
Yeah, but when it comes to reviews in the double standards, that's the problem. Be consistent.
Yeah.
The
thing of the
and I have nothing if not consistent.
The problem the problem with reviews in this industry, right, is that especially when it comes to large outlets, right? Everybody criticizes IGN, GameSpot, PC Gamer, Kotaku, etc., for being inconsistent with their reviews. But the reason that they're so inconsistent is because they have, 10, 15, 20, 30, however many people reviewing games for them, right?
Right.
Like, the advantage that we have with Senshudo is there's two of us. do reviews. And I don't even really do reviews anymore. I do more first impression stuff because I got tired of listening to people bitch at me about a score I'd give a game. I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to. That's not fun for me anymore.
Right.
It's not.
Well, and that's just it.
It's
You're
not
opening
creative.
yourself up to this. Yeah. Plus, now you're forced into, especially if you don't like a game. I'm not going to play a game for 100 hours if I don't like it.
Right.
Ain't going to happen.
That's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, if I don't like a game, I don't want to spend, 20, 30, 40, I don't have that kind of time anymore.
Right.
I've got a 3-year-old. I've got a wife that likes to spend time with me for some reason.
Lord knows why.
Yeah, right. Lord knows why. But like,
yeah,
it just, it just, I don't have that kind of time. So I maximize my time, and we switched to doing this, the Why Don't We Try series. And honestly, it's been incredibly creatively freeing.
Those are fun actually, because and we've chosen some very strange games for that too. It's like, let's try this, see what happens.
Exactly. Let's give it. Let's fuck around with this for 2 hours and then see what happens, right? And get 20 minutes of content out of it and post it. And people are like, oh wow, the Retro Realms video I did.
Right.
For the platforming game.
We did one I think for Black Ice.
A guy messaged me on the Senshudo Twitter and was like, I never would have heard of this game if it wasn't for stumbling across your video on YouTube. But he's like, the way that you presented it was like, anybody can play this game, and if you suck at it, you suck, but you're still having fun.
Right. Oh, and I think that's oh god. That's part of the thing too. One, human nature, we are a competitive species.
Yeah. Oh,
probably too competitive for our own good.
Yes, I will agree with you.
And we forget that I don't play games as a second job. I play games as escapism and a form of entertainment.
Right.
And when they become a second job, Destiny 2, I stop playing them.
Right.
And every game, if it's an online game like that these days, it's like, this should be the only game you're playing. No. That's not how that works.
No.
But they want, let's come join our Discord, come do this. Here's all this stuff you have to do daily. And they're feeding on the fear of missing out. They're feeding on the FOMO.
Yeah.
And it works, unfortunately. And then you get this divide. Well, hence the name aggressively casual, right? Because I'm not hardcore. Arguably, I've never really been hardcore. Yes, I've been a raider, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you get these people who that's all they do.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's all I do all day is I play games. That's a hell of a job if you can get it.
Right. I have a couple of friends who I've known for years in this industry. And, they are very, very fortunate to get to sit around and play video games all day for a job. But they are the first ones to tell you that is, it's just like any fucking small business. The actual doing the job is not the job.
Right.
It's the smallest portion of the job. It's everything else around it that is, the thing, and the thing that nobody realizes. I mean, you do the same thing with Cheeks and Phoenix.
Right.
It's the same thing. Where
the on-stage part is the smallest part of the job.
The on-stage part is the smallest part of the job. It's the rehearsing, it's the marketing, it's the getting the fucking gig,
right.
which has become a thing in and of itself these days. Because there are apparently 8,000 different fucking acts out there now, but
right.
It's the same. It's the same thing with streaming. It's the same thing with content creation. I mean, you and I talked about this before too. When it comes to when it comes to content creation, a lot of it is who you know and luck.
Sure, absolutely. Well, and it's like lately, I'm not going to use the term caught fire because let's be real, it's less than 100 people. But my personal YouTube channel has almost tripled in size in the last just over a month,
right,
since I started doing these Tuesday, Thursday ambient music streams.
Yeah.
Where I'm creating new music tracks. But the thing is, if I don't keep that going, that's not going to sustain, right?
Right, right.
Um,
But I mean, and that's literally when we used to do our stream, our stream classes and stuff like that. Right. The first thing we would always say is, look, you need to do two things. One, you need to get on a schedule and stick to it, which is the
Yep.
easiest part, and it's the hardest part. Right.
right.
And then two, you need to be consistent in your off stream activities. Right. If you always post, good morning on social media, do that.
Right.
If you always post, a thing that you like, once a day or whatever, do that. Don't forget to do it. Like, consistency in this business is absolutely key. And it's just one of those things where, not to drag us too far off the tracks as we're approaching an hour here, but it's one
It's
of those
fine.
things where I almost wish that this industry was harder to get into, because it wouldn't flood the market with.
I'd say
How do
that
I
just
put
about
this?
any industry, though.
Yeah,
That's the
well,
thing. The barrier to entry is small. The barrier to success is not so small.
well, yeah,
Um,
but to put it in perspective, what I mean is, like, the barrier to entry is you basically need to have an internet connection to be able to stream. You can stream anything these days.
well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to boil it down, it's not quite that small, I think. But it's still a fairly small investment these days to be able to
yeah,
get into it.
yeah,
Same thing with music, though. If I want a home studio these days, a couple $100 will get me my DAW and some plugins, and I'm off to the races.
yeah. Fair. That is just up to you to actually create the thing.
But just like everything else, if this show, for example, is boring, nobody's going to watch it,
Right.
and eventually it'll die because
Yep.
nobody's watching it,
Yep.
or we'll run out of shit to say.
Right. Which
Which
that's
probably not
that's
likely.
a good joke.
Right, probably not likely.
Well,
Um,
and I mean, you and I have talked about this. I mean, we were 4 episodes in now, and our viewer numbers are higher than I ever thought they would be. And I'm grateful for that, and shocked by it, and don't understand why, but I'll take it.
well, I think part of it is we're being honest. We're not trying to, when we make a point of, we ain't going to chase an algorithm.
Right.
I'm going to say what I got to say. You can agree with it. You can disagree with it. You can watch it. You can not. I'm still going to say it.
And that's the thing is for y'all that are watching this, if you disagree with what we're saying, you're more than welcome to leave us a comment, whatever, and explain
Absolutely.
why. I love hearing people respectfully explain
Don't be a dick.
why they disagree with whatever it is that I'm saying, because I love learning other points of view, and maybe, just maybe, my point of view will change.
It's possible.
Because I got this real moron thing I do called thinking.
Right.
And I got this real thing called critical thinking skills that allow me to change opinions if I hear something that
Right.
didn't
If you're
may not
presented
have
with
made
evidence
sense.
to the contrary of what you believe, logically, you have to
Right?
change your. But hey, that's
But hey, that's a
subject for another
that's a
time.
whole other horse. That's a whole other
Right?
horse. We don't have time to get into, especially knowing what's happening tomorrow in this country.
Oh Lord, sweet God. Yeah. Like I said, I went and got it done
Yep.
for a host of reasons.
Yep. Nope. Yep. I agree with you. I went and
Speaking
did the
of, if
thing.
you're in the U.S. and you're of age, go vote.
Go vote.
That's all I'm gonna say. Just go vote.
Yep. Just go vote. It is your right. Go vote. Don't let it go to waste.
And I would say it's your duty as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is your right, but it's also your responsibility. Go vote.
Yeah. Agreed.
Don't vote, no bitch.
Exactly. But I mean, we're just crossing over an hour here. I think we've said all we need to say on this topic. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with something else. I'm sure something will
To sum
anger
up,
us.
be consistent.
I was about to say final thoughts. I think really are, like you said, be consistent and especially when it comes to things like reviews and giving out copies and for review, like, don't be afraid of negativity.
Right.
A lot of companies.
On the other hand, try to look for something positive too.
Well, yeah, of course, of course. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to, like, EA giving out reviews because people who were positive on their previews, only supposedly, maybe that's a thing, allegedly. Like,
I've seen some pretty strong evidence to indicate that is the case.
okay, fair, but I mean, they're never gonna come out and say it, so I'm just gonna say allegedly, even though we know it's likely, right?
Right.
Um, you're right, allegedly. But don't EA, BioWare, any company, don't be afraid of negativity, because the people who are telling you like it is, are the ones that are the most passionate about the product you're offering, and they deserve their voices heard too.
Yeah,
and they deserve
absolutely.
to have their criticisms, understood, at least heard, if not understood. You don't have to like what they're saying, but that doesn't mean that they don't get the chance to say it.
Right.
And that's just where I'm at.
Well, and here's the problem. Now you're going to get a bunch of people who are going to go out and they're going to get a copy. They're going to spend $17 or whatever for a month. They're going to download it. They're going to review it. And now they're predisposed to not like it.
Yeah.
Because you've colored their expectations just by being a dick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Make a good game. Let the chips fall where they may.
Yep, exactly. But with that, guys, I think we're going to head off. Thank you so much to everybody who came by. This will be up on YouTube and other places in a couple of days if you're catching the VOD. We love y'all. Say goodnight, Cheeks.
Good night, guys. Talk to you later.
This may be the last time you see me. This might be the last gig I do. At the end of today, I may just pass away. On the other hand, it might be you.